Adult bullying is fascism. Here's another one I have to make, unfortunately, at this time. It's important. This is also why I'm doing all of this. See, I have to be less triggered by the things I'm hearing everywhere because I'm also guilty of adult bullying because I was once again raised to hate myself until I came out and accepted the fact that I'm everything that I was thought I shouldn't be. I knew it, and I allowed others to allow me to think that I was doing the right thing by abusing myself into trying to be a very strong, straight male, thinking all these things were evil. I need to repeat this for a second because it's a part of the point that I'm making, and it's why I repeat myself. It's to layer in the psychology. Adult bullying is fascism. And when that gets exploited, okay, by propaganda, which is why I'm broke and I gave up my production. Years have passed. I'm getting old now. The point is that I could have made money on massaging people into where they're being destructive socially today. And I could have made a profit on it. And I refused it. Now, I'm sharing that because I'm not asking for sympathy. I want people to take that to account as to why this is so important. Because it has everything to do with people having the wrong opinion of me. And the reason why I do not go after them or get upset with them, I just get upset being triggered in return. It's because I know why they think the way they do. I used to think that way, and I was programmed to think that way. So I do not hate them for thinking that way, even though I disagree. Whether they ever agree with me or not, that's on their own terms. I will coexist with them because they have done good things for me in the past, and after coming out, even if they disagree with me, they've continued to do their best to do good things for me currently. So my goal is to make sure that I have as much coexistence and friendship as possible without any favoritism or kissing any ass. And at the same time, it is okay, to have family and friends and do more for them and support them than other people. And it's okay to support people that make you feel good, that you do not know, because that's paying it forward. And it's also good to pay it forward in general, of course, everyday life, like opening doors for people or common courtesy. So I'm doing this to make sure I heal because I abused myself, and I need to make sure I'm less triggered. And that's why this is also important. Why am I saying bullying is fascism and talking about my story so much? Because, see, go beyond my training, go beyond my knowledge. I'm privileged to be able to have that ability and the time to develop it. So once I realized it was deeper than for art and business in my company, and that all these things are really, really affecting people, it became bigger than giving up my goal and my dream to make sure I didn't get paid to massage people into civil discourse and instability. It's to realize that I need to heal. I'm a victim of my own fascism against myself, and it's causing me to be triggered on anybody that says the least little thing that offends me, and I'm offended because they're using words to where I know what they're thinking with those words because I had those same offensive thoughts, and I still do. I'm trying to erase them. It's embedded in me. So that's the difficulty. And why is this so important to bullying as fascism? That's the terrorism I'm talking about, and why people are going crazy today in their own worlds with the same problems, with less understanding and more quick-winded reaction. See, this is what I talk about in TikTok. This is so important. I'll be educational. It's so important. In closure, I want to talk about the people that are snapping out, being violent, especially those that are shooters. I know they're experiencing the same emotions. I know at some point they're so frustrated with themselves and they do not even realize it, or they're blocking it out like I did to be strong. And then when they finally realize the truth, they're offended by people that they know are saying things that they've had the same thoughts with the same hatred, and because they're flipping that around, they're also trying to be strong. Like myself, they were people that were weak because they do have empathy. They do have hearts. They do care. And they're lost in the ability to be strong because they're alone. They're alone in where they're at. And the opinions of people that are triggering them inside keep building and building and building. And then they think they have to be strong. And then one day comes and they go out and seize an opportunity, and nobody was around to talk with them on these levels with respect, like what I went through. It was humiliating what I was experiencing from people, and they thought I was so psychologically inept to understand what was happening coming into my home, coming into my life, people I've known for years actually, and there are other people underneath who they've been the whole time. And I understand that. People have multiple lives. People are professionals. Some people are just a part of cliques and groups. A lot of people have friends. A lot of people care about their community. It goes on and on and on. And as an adult, regardless of my affiliations or what I believe in and what I think or feel, even for my own healing for that matter, that's the other thing I keep working on to recognize in people. And sorry, my hair's in my face. I'm not trying to be pretty, even though I am. That's for anybody who doesn't like to hear that. Anyway, yeah, I'll be a little antagonizing, I guess, a little bit. But, I have to shine. But, as long as I can be less triggered, then that means I'm healing and I'm more accepting. And that's also why I'm making jokes about myself and a lot of the AI, because it's helping me accept myself, number one. That's the one thing I learned from comedians. Ironically, Richard Pryor is someone that, I want to say this, I was inspired by, who ironically hates the queer and transgender community and gay community in a lot of his talks. That's unfortunate. But, you know what? Even though that strikes that note, right? Instead of wanting to lash out and now all of a sudden hate everything he's done, the one thing I've learned was he was the master at repeating what really hurt him deeply about his own pain, what he experienced that had everything to do with racism and hatred, reflecting it with the community being forgotten. And part of that reason why he had the triggers against the gay and queer community is because a lot of times that's a different community overshadowing the grievances of what the black community is experiencing. And people are we're all trained to be systemically like a sport, to want to have the biggest, the loudest, be number one. And it's a point of coexisting and complementing each other. It's not a socialist thing to say coexistence. And for democratic socialists, I know your goal is not traditional socialism. Democratic socialists are anti-fascist. So the last thing any democratic socialist wants is actual classic Nazi-style socialism. So I want to share all these things because, all these topics and public topics are things that, once again, I plan on basing a lot of my professionalism on, because I'm very successful in those areas. And I do get, people that are interested in the things that I have to say when the topic is correct and it flows and it works for people. So I have to get away from my own grievance if I'm going to be successful in these areas. But that doesn't mean now cutting off the world, because that's the other side of all this. And it's not about being a hero. So in my mind, it's the speakers and the ones that have that strife, that have really the backlash of the public, and the ones that express the advocacy and activism in their art. Those are the ones that really get heard, and the ones that express it within the message more so than using the art to grandstand the politics or the narrative. That seems to be what works, and that's what I like also. I like knowing I can listen to my favorite artists and I'm listening to their music first, or I'm reviewing their artwork first for the intrinsic value that it has and the humanistic message that it has and what it resonates with. And then the activism and the advocacy is really within the message, reflected by the heartfelt message itself, not that there's a narrative to push.